And as we come on the air, we are keeping a close eye on Louisiana as Hurricane Francine is slamming the state, now a Category 1 after making landfall as a Category 2. Now, here's a live look from Earth Cam at the empty streets of New Orleans. That's the iconic Bourbon Street as the city braces for a direct hit over the next few hours. The storm is packing 90-mile-an-hour winds and heavy rain that could trigger rapid flash flooding, storm surge, even possible tornadoes across Louisiana and Mississippi. Now, the threat of significant flooding is also stretching as far as Florida. Some of that flooding starting as we speak. Francine's impact has been felt all day across southern Louisiana, even before we saw landfall, and some areas could see up to 8 inches of rain. Now, officials have spent the last few days urging people to be ready and telling those in low-lying and coastal areas to evacuate then, but say that window has now passed and anyone left should be hunkering down.
It is a time to go to ground and hunker down. We are now no longer in the prepare for a hurricane. We are now in the respond for a hurricane or to a hurricane.
And so many alerts and warnings happening as we speak. Let's bring in NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns for the latest. Bill, what do the next couple of hours look like? It looks like it's getting the worst we've seen so far.
Yeah, we need this thing to die off. It's going to weaken, and eventually the winds will get low enough that it won't be causing any more damage. But right now, we still have destruction taking place. We still have people losing power rapidly, now especially that the storm is getting over high density populated areas. So this is the eye. It's huge. It's about 80, 90 miles across, one of the biggest ones you'll see anywhere. But it doesn't mean it's that intense. What's intense is this narrow band along the northern portion of the eye, especially this part right in here. And that's what's on the edge of New Orleans, West New Orleans, La Place, and heading towards Baton Rouge. This is Interstate 10, and there's a lot of population centers and cities along that, and that's where the worst of it's going to be over the next 3 hours. And then after about midnight, the storm should weaken enough that we stop getting a lot of the damage to the trees and some people's roofs. So here's New Orleans here. You can see even this bright pink. I mean, this is torrential rain that's coming down along with these high wind gusts. And so anywhere in here is where we're losing power, right now. And as that lifts north, it will continue to watch that lifting north up towards Interstate 12. Hopefully it'll begin to weaken a little bit more, but right now it's holding pretty strong. So that's New Orleans, to the west. Areas to the east of New Orleans, it's not quite as bad. And that heavy band's now 15 miles from downtown New Orleans. La Place is 12 miles. The thing to notice, look at Houma down here. There's nothing going on. They're in the eye. It's calm. It's not raining, and there's no backside to the storm either. So once this gets through in about 2-3 hours, New Orleans, La Place, you're done. For Baton Rouge, it'll take a little longer than that. Here's the latest gust at New Orleans International Airport at 58 miles per hour. The reason we're not seeing reports down here, all of these weather stations stopped working at the peak of the storm. Very common. Once the winds get up there to 80 to 90, 100 miles per hour, they stop. We do know that we had a 96 mile per hour wind gust on land. That was the highest I saw on land. Out in the water, I saw a report of up to about 105 miles per hour. And now the rain's really adding up in New Orleans. We've gotten about 2 to 3 inches of rain. And so the worst now to 11 p.m. in New Orleans. We've already had about half of this. We have a chance of getting up there about a half a foot of rain. I'm sure the pumps in the city of New Orleans are working hard too. And the highest winds are now till about, another 2-3 hours from now, and then the winds will begin to die off after that. As far as our friends in Baton Rouge go, same kind of timing, maybe a little bit, 11 p.m. to about midnight or so, but the totals could be a little bit lower. I think the winds in Baton Rouge will be a little bit lower than New Orleans. And here's the flash flood warnings, and this is all including that I-10 corridor where I just showed you that heavy rain band, where, again, it's not moving that fast. That rain is going to add up in a hurry. So, if you can make it through, bottom line, Gadi, if New Orleans area and areas around there, if you can make it till about 11 p.m. or midnight and you still have power tonight, I think you'll wake up with power too. Now we're in that critical time.
Bill Cairns, thank you so much. And speaking of New Orleans, let's go to NBC senior national correspondent and top story anchor Tom Yamas, who has been in the thick of it all night tonight. He's in New Orleans right now where this storm is really picking up. Tom, we have been glued to your coverage out there, and you can see, this is the worst we've seen so far. The storm is about 50 miles out, according to the National Hurricane Center. What's it looking like right now?
Yeah, Gadi, we have gotten some of the strongest wind gusts so far tonight here in New Orleans, along with that steady rain that seems never to stop. I'm also keeping my eye over here. This is Lake Pontchartrain, and as you know, New Orleans, the Big Easy, sits between the Mississippi River and Lake Pontchartrain, and the fear is always the water. The storm surge and the wind pushing those waves over the seawall. But right now, this is a good sign. I covered Hurricane Irma and we were out here and Ida, and those storms, the water washed over this road here. So this is a good sign that it's pushing towards the Big Easy, and yet we don't have that massive storm surge we've seen before. There is power still on here. You can see along these lights the power is still on. I'm seeing in some areas it's flickering, but overall there's about 11,000 customers in Jefferson Parish, which is the suburbs of New Orleans. They're out with power, and there's some 1,000 or so in the Orleans Parish as well. So not too bad. Look, New Orleans has faced bigger and stronger hurricanes. We know that. They are used to this type of weather. What was different about this one is that they thought it was going to come ashore as a Category 1. It was a Category 2. There's never weak hurricanes. There's no such thing. Right now, this is about a Cat 1, and we're hearing Bill walk us through exactly what was happening right now. People taking this seriously, and that's good, because I've been out here, and people have just been kind of enjoying Mother Nature at times for other storms. We didn't see that tonight. I think part of it is because this storm is hitting at night, which makes it much different, but also makes it much more dangerous. So I think people are going to hunker down. They're going to watch this storm roll through. They're going to watch that news coverage as long as they have electricity, which it feels like it's going to hold up. But we're going to see, because the next 30 minutes to an hour or so, Gadi, are going to be the most intense, and we're going to be out here covering it. So I'm going to send it back to you.
And Tom, you were just talking about the difference between a hurricane in the day and a hurricane at night. From where you are right now, what are the major concerns as darkness falls there?
You know what it is that every storm exposes vulnerabilities. And right now in Jefferson Parish, what they're telling me is that they're having a problem with their sewage pumps, right? So people are going to use the restroom, they're trying to flush their toilets, and it's not working, and it's backing up. So they sent out a parish-wide alert and a reminder. The parishes are like the counties all across the country. Here they're called parishes in Louisiana. They're asking people to use as little water as possible because they don't want people to flood out their bathrooms and eventually their homes. What's happening is that so much water is coming into the drainage system, and those drainage pipes are backed up. Sometimes with New Orleans, it's the levees, which was catastrophic during Hurricane Katrina. Sometimes it's the pumps not working, the spillways, which can lead to floods. Other times, the wind is so strong, and it can knock down power lines, like it did during Ida, and people were without power for weeks. So with this one, with it coming at night, it's just what you can't see. And I'm looking this way so our viewers know, just so I can see what exactly is coming this way. But so far, nothing is. We're about to get hit with a really strong wind gust right now. I'm going to stop talking so you can hear it.
Yeah, hey, Tom, if I may, just
Gadi, hopefully you can hear that wind gust, how strong it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is howling out there. I know that 2,300 National Guard members have been activated out there. In the conditions that you're in, if something goes horribly wrong, can emergency services get to somebody in need?
Yeah, to a certain degree, though, right? Like in cities like Morgan City, where the storm came ashore, when that was happening, when the hurricane was approaching, they pulled all the police off the streets because it was just too dangerous. I mean, this is too dangerous right now for police to drive, and the wind's too strong. There's zero visibility. So if something happens right now, you are a little bit sort of screwed, if you will, because the police can't get you in time, and the police officers are also not going to put their men and women in danger if something were to happen. And, you know, you mentioned the nighttime, and that's what happens. Sometimes with nighttime, you can't really see things as well. So if something happens right now, it could take some time for emergency responders to get there. There's a couple of National Guard troops actually here that we're going to talk to in a little bit. And you're right, they've activated 2,300 and they're ready to go. They have those high water vehicles. They have the boats in case they need to rescue people. And of course, the famous Cajun Navy operates in Louisiana. But again, I don't know if they're going to be needed to be used. We'll probably know that in the morning. As of right now, everyone's just sort of watching Francine and seeing what it does tonight.
Tom Yamas in the thick of it. Tom, thank you so much for your reporting. Stay safe out there.
Yep.
Now let's go to Steve Roma, who is in Gulfport, Mississippi right now. Steve, what's the situation like where you are right now? It looks a little less chaotic than where Tom was just standing.
Yeah, Gadi, we're still getting those bands, gusts of wind and blasts of rain. We're also hearing thunder and lightning now. We are on the east side of the storm where it made landfall. That's called the dirty side. One of the big concerns here, the storm surge. Lots of people are referencing Katrina and their fears from that still almost 20 years on from that, of how high the water actually went. They're concerned of that. Also, the tornado risk on the dirty side of the storm that can cause these spin-up tornadoes. And as Tom was just mentioning, as night falls, that's an even bigger concern on this side of the storm. There is a curfew in effect. It started at 6 p.m. here local time, goes until 6 a.m. We've seen people mostly adhering to that. They're certainly staying off the beaches because it is quite uncomfortable out here. Authorities are asking people just to hunker down and try to ride this out. People were out filling sandbags up earlier and trying to make their last-minute preparations. And for the most part, although we do see some cars on the road that don't look like they're supposed to be there right now, people are adhering to that curfew, Gadi.
And Stephen, do you have a sense of when you will get hit with the strongest part of this storm? I know that, we just saw Tom. He's by Lake Pontchartrain over there by in Louisiana, over by New Orleans. You're, if I am calculating correctly, maybe 50 to 100 miles away. He's got the hurricane 50 miles away from him. What time does it look like it's going to hit you?
Yeah, that's supposed to happen later into the night as well, Gadi. We're going to be up waiting just for that. And again, to mention those tornadoes, in case any of those happen, we're going to be responding to those. Hopefully, those do not actually take place. Sometimes things get a little bit calmer, and I'm able to take my hood off just like I did before I started talking to you, and then the rain will start right back up. So it's not exactly clear to me when we'll hit that. Timing can be a little tricky. I'm not a meteorologist. We can check back in with them for that exact timing because I keep getting it wrong. But it's certainly going to get worse as night continues to fall here, Gadi.
Got it. Stephen Romo, thanks so much. And let's go back to New Orleans, where our good friend Jesse Kirsch, he's in the French Quarter, I believe. If we can pull up his shot, I know that is right in the middle of some of those extreme bands that we're seeing. Jesse, you've been, if I understand correctly, you're right there in the French Quarter, in between a couple of buildings. Can you paint us a picture as to what you're seeing right now?
Yeah, so Gadi, for people who visited New Orleans before, back that way, heading in that direction, that's Bourbon Street, a couple blocks back that way. We've got a car driving down the street right now, trying to see if that's a first responder or not. Officials do not want people out on the streets. They've been told point blank, and that is police. We have seen police out here, but people have been told, the public have been told to shelter in place. I want to give you an idea of how these winds are howling. I just clocked a wind gust around 26 miles per hour. So the winds have picked up. To give you context, earlier it was around 15 miles per hour. So the winds are picking up. We're getting some more bands of rain. And I'm going to have our photographer, Carlos, tilt up if you can over here. This is a public parking sign. And look at that sign. How much the wind is making those signs move. We've got the trees moving as well. And I'm going to do another check of the wind out here, Gadi. We get a strong gust here right now, and you can hear the sign clanking against the pole. I've seen light poles shaking around. We've got flagpoles shaking around. Excuse me, not light poles, but flagpoles shaking around as well for hours now. People have been told to stay inside, but this is the scene in downtown New Orleans right now. And I can tell you, people yesterday were lining up around the block to get sandbags to protect their property. We had gone to a grocery store ourselves and found that much of the bottled water had cleared out. So people were taking this seriously. And I can tell you, it is largely, and you can see more headlights behind me, but it has largely been a ghost town in downtown New Orleans today and tonight. And of course, as you mentioned, we're in the French Quarter. This is normally a neighborhood, part of the city that is filled with revelers, right? Maybe not on a weeknight, but no question, this place is taking this storm seriously right now. Very few people have been out right now, and we have much higher wind gusts than we were seeing earlier. And it feels like a miss because of how much the wind is blowing this rain around, but it's been pretty consistently raining out here now, Gadi.
And Jesse, one of the main concerns tonight going into the evening here is whether or not the power is going to stay on. Any indication if the power is on behind? I mean, it looks like there's some lights behind you. Is the power looking like it's holding steady right now?
Power's good. Power's good so far. And for people who might be wondering what this is called an anemometer, checking the wind speed. Just because it's been interesting to see how the wind speeds have been jumping, again, going from around 15 to as high as around 25, 26 from a couple hours ago. But as far as power goes, haven't seen any lights flickering yet. Downtown seems to have power fully, and of course we'll hope it stays that way. It's much cooler out right now than it was earlier, but obviously it can get muggy and humid here, and you don't want to be losing power this time of year, not having access to the air conditioning. And I'm just taking one more check of the wind here, and I don't know if you can tell, it's really kicking up right now. and we're climbing with the wind speed 23. I'm getting almost 24 miles per hour. Yeah, Gadi, it's definitely making its way toward us right now, and we're feeling the effects of Francine a lot more now than we were earlier, Gadi.
So 23, 24 miles an hour that we're seeing right now with the wind gusts, and it's battering you around, battering the background around. And just to put this into context, that is not the extremes of the wind gusts that we're seeing with this storm. We've heard everywhere from 80 to 90 miles an hour. So that just gives you an idea of how powerful the bands are outside of this and how powerful some of those gusts are that are ripping down signs. Jesse, in terms of some of the gutters, the drainage, if you will, in that area, I know that they have seen some problems back in the day. Does it look like they've been able to clear all that out in preparation for this storm?
So what I can tell you is I'm going to have our photographer follow me again and make sure there's no one coming. There's been water that's been filtering down this way. There's a little bit of an incline in that parking lot. Water's been filtering down this way into this drain, and I think the wind is definitely impacting how that's going. But I can tell you, Gadi, I've been keeping an eye on this drain right behind me, just a regular street drain from what I can tell. And things are going fine over here right now. So, of course, as you mentioned, this city has been through some very, very devastating storms. And so there have been improvements made over the years. So we'll be keeping an eye on how the pumping systems here in New Orleans handle this storm. And again, like you mentioned about the wind, those weren't even sustained gusts, right? Those were just little pops I was getting around 25 miles per hour. So sustained gusts over here, I don't have that, that calculation for you. But definitely those were not consistent 25s. They were popping every once in a while. And as you mentioned, Hurricane Francine was having wind gusts as high as around 100 miles per hour before it was downgraded. So definitely not the true brunt of the storm right now. But also, Gadi, we weren't initially supposed to have a direct hit here. So, and that's how it's been looking like it's tracking now, is we could be getting a direct hit here in New Orleans. And I know I'll defer to Bill for the exact forecast and track on that. But of course, as these things shift, you can imagine how what we're looking for shifts as well. And the other thing about this storm to keep in mind, Gadi, is it formed closer to Louisiana's coastline than others. And that means there was less lead time to prepare for this. So, a bit of a rush compared to how you handle other storms as well. But again, people seem to largely be heeding the warnings out here. I see some headlights off in the distance, couple people out, but more often than not, we've been seeing first responders, it seems, as well. And again, power still seems to be intact here in downtown New Orleans, Gadi.
Yeah, fingers crossed it stays that way. Jesse Kirsch, thank you so much down there in New Orleans. And let's go over to Iberia Parish. We're joined right now by Larry Richard, Iberia Parish president. Larry, what's it looking like where you are? If I understand correctly, it looks like the worst of it has passed over you and is making its way. And in fact, I believe you might be possibly in the eye. Is that correct?
Actually, right now, I'm at the Port of Iberia in Iberia Parish. The wind right now, we're getting about maybe, I'm going to say 20, 25 mile an hour winds right here where I'm at. Of course, I have to look at this person when I'm not supposed to be on the road right now. But I got out of my house so I can come and take a look at some of this stuff so I can really give you a good assessment as to what's going on. We actually are blessed, considered to when this storm was first forecast, it was coming right at us. But right now, we're on the west side of it. I think we're going to be blessed. We got some winds. We expect a little bit more rain, up to maybe 4 or 5 inches of rain. And the concern we have here, of course, is going to be surge water. But right now, we're looking really good. The wind is not that bad. The clouds are moving very fast, but we don't look that bad right now in Iberia Parish.
Yeah, this storm is moving fast in the best kind of way, if you will. In terms of your drainage, in terms of some of the prep that you were able to do before this hit, how's it looking?
We're looking very good. This is something that we prepare for on a regular. Earlier, I guess it was last week, when we figured out there was going to be some concerns, we started getting Public Works Department to go out and started checking all of the drainage. And, all the culverts, and where we have bridges with the box culverts, we made sure nothing wasn't in the coulees and the drainage areas, and what was there, we removed it. So the drainage is working extremely fine right now here in the parish. And of course, again, I got another sheriff department guy right here. Let me tell him I'm good. But we don't really have any people right now that's actually riding around. I'm just doing an interview right now on the television station. So we're very good right now. The drainage is going well. We prepared for the worst. We actually was preparing for up to a Category 2, but that is not hitting us right now. So we're looking very good. I mean, there's no traffic at all on the roads right now. We do have a curfew in effect right now until tomorrow at 7.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, you can see the deputies out there doing their patrols. Does it look like everyone heeded the warnings? I mean, was it a mandatory evacuation or was it hunker in place, or a little bit of both?
It was actually a voluntary evacuation. And the people here are very, very good. This is something that we are accustomed to. I've been the parish president now for going on 9 years. We have hurricane preparation that we do every year between the months of February and July. We just finished doing it not long ago. We have the National Guard here. We have the Homeland Security people here, our Sheriff Department, our mayors, our fire department. So this is something that we go through on a very regular basis. And the people of Iberia Parish, we keep them notified. What I would do right now is make sure that if anyone's paying attention right or on television looking at you, make sure that they pay attention to our website and our Facebook so they can know what's happening in this parish as it happens. But we're looking good.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, a final question here, and context is everything. You've lived there for a really long time. Level with people. How's this looking compared to years past?
Very good. Right now, we really, if it stay like this here, we're going to be very, very blessed, spared. So right now, again, it looked like it's coming through really, really quick. I'm inside of my car. I actually put the window down so I can see a little bit about what's going on and look at these clouds. In fact, when I was driving here, I was looking at the channel right next to a coulee, to a channel called the Commercial Canal. So I'm right next to Commercial Canal. The water is actually going out, is blowing, like from the north going out into the Gulf. What you're showing right here look like it would be in Delcom. That's something that happened in the past. So we don't have any of that going on right now. None of it. So we look we're blessed. In fact, I can take my phone and show you some of the clouds if you wanted to, but we're really blessed here in Iberia Parish.
Iberia Parish President Larry Richard, thank you so much for joining us, and fingers crossed that hurricane moves on as quickly as it did over your parish. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Here's another look at Hurricane Francine as it's making its way through Louisiana and Mississippi as we speak. We're going to head back to the ground and get you the latest on the overnight forecast from Bill Cairns. Also tonight, the fallout from last night's presidential debate, all of the spin from Harris and the Trump teams, and the odds on voters getting another showdown between the pair. That's coming up soon, so stay tuned. Hey, welcome back, and here are some of the other headlines we're watching tonight. Today marks the 23rd year since the September 11th attacks. President Biden, Vice President Harris, former President Trump, and his running mate J.D. Vance all attended the memorial ceremony at Ground Zero in New York. Biden and Harris also attended ceremonies in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon. And the federal trial against 3 former police officers started in Memphis today. They are accused of fatally beating Tyree Nichols during a traffic stop last year. The prosecutor says they, quote, stood by his dying body and laughed. Here's what Nichols' mother had to say.
Our hope is that they're found guilty and to show the world that my son was a good person and he wasn't the criminal that they're trying to make him out to be.
And the Michigan Attorney General announced it was closing its investigation into Michigan State University and the sexual abuse by Larry Nassar. The AG said that the more than 6,000 documents that MSU turned over contain no new information into how Nassar was able to carry out his abuse for so long. In total, the school has paid out $500 million to settle lawsuits from some of its victims. Nassar is serving decades in prison. And it looks like inflation is starting to cool, dropping in August to the lowest level in 3 years. In the 12 months ending in August, prices rose 2.5%, an improvement from the over 2.9% in July. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve is expected to cut interest rates next week for the first time in years. And it looks like Justin Timberlake's world tour will go on as planned after reaching some sort of plea deal with Justin Timberlake's DWI case. Now, the details aren't clear, but Justin Timberlake will be attending court in the Hamptons on Friday. And last night's debate between VP Harris and former President Trump was full of fiery moments, and they brought in some huge ratings. Early reports show a staggering 67 million people tuned in. NBC News chief White House correspondent Pete Alexander has more on what everyone's talking about today.
At Ground Zero today, Vice President Harris and former President Trump shaking hands again, both appearing at the solemn ceremony commemorating the 23rd anniversary of the 9/11 terror attack and the nearly 3,000 Americans who lost their lives.
Jack, Charles, Aaron.
Joshua, Todd, Aaron.
Later, in a show of unity, President Biden, briefly wearing a Trump hat handed to him by a supporter of the former president. It comes as the Harris campaign is touting her performance in last night's debate, calling for a second one. The former president, who had insisted on multiple debates, now non-committal.
Are we going to do a rematch? I just don't know. I would do NBC. I'd do Fox, too.
It follows their historic face-off, the first ever meeting between the two, that began with an unexpected greeting initiated by the vice president.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
But the pleasantries did not last long.
This is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted.
I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me.
For 90 minutes, Harris delivered on her strategy to try to provoke outbursts from the former president, mocking his rallies.
And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
Trump repeatedly taking the bait.
She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go.
Harris pressing her rival on his refusal to accept the 2020 election results.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. Clearly, he is having a very difficult time processing that.
And in another dramatic moment, slamming him for praising the repeal of Roe v. Wade.
You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that.
Though Harris did not specify if she supports any restrictions on abortion. Trump targeted Harris for her record on the economy.
I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else.
And on the border.
They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in.
Also going after her recent reversals on progressive policies like a fracking ban that she has since said she opposes.
She will never allow fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one.
The vice president closing the debate on an optimistic note.
We can chart a new way forward. And a vision of that includes having a plan, understanding the aspirations, the dreams, the hopes, the ambition of the American people.
While Trump argued Harris is all talk and no action.
They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it?
So where do things stand on a possible second debate? We've spoken to Trump allies who say they're going to urge Trump to do another debate because they say he allowed Harris to get under his skin. And we have just learned, Gadi, that more than 67 million people watched last night's showdown. Back to you.
Peter Alexander, thank you. So what did independent voters think of last night's debate? NBC's Kate Snow sat down with some of them in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, to find out.
One word to describe what you saw, Lynn.
Well, it's 4 words. Same old, same old.
Manipulative.
Lies on both sides.
Is there anything you heard here that you thought, oh, yeah, I could go for that policy. I could stand with that candidate?
Not really. For me, I think Kamala had a good debate. I feel more favorably towards her than to Donald, but I'm still
not sure.
Not 100%.
The two of you women reacted very strongly when Harris was talking about abortion. What was your thought on that? What was it about that part of the debate that struck you?
His misinformation. He sensationalized just so much.
When he was talking about...
He does it because that is what his supporters want to hear. And it really impacts who people like us, if we choose to vote for him or not, because we know you are lying.
What's your takeaway on the immigration portion of the debate?
As usual, Donald goes from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat. Yes, we have an immigration problem. Not all immigrants are eating dogs in suburban counties.
I think we need to control who comes into our country. We need immigration of people legally in ways where we can vet them, background check them. But we can't just say the border's shut down, no one can come here.
Vice President Harris said, appealing to undecided voters just like you guys, there's a place for you here. We can end the chaos. Does that appeal to you?
To an extent, yes. And I really, really want to like her so much. Like, I do like her. I do.
Is there a but?
There is a but, because, one, I don't think that she has actual policies that are going to be effective. I don't think that either one of them is right for the country. I really don't.
When Vice President Harris was talking about race in this country and said the American people want better than this, was that something that resonated with you, Andrew?
I don't want it to be about race. To me, it's about what you can do, how well you can do it.
Underneath the not so thin veneer of Donald Trump, I think he's a racist, somewhat of a bigot. I think
that sounds like someone, Lynn, who cannot possibly vote for Donald Trump.
I know. It comes down to, do you vote your pocketbook or do you vote your morals?
Kate Snow, thank you. And to the other natural disaster that we're following tonight, there are several wildfires that continue to rage out here in the West. Some of the blazes exploding in growth overnight, scorching parts of California, and the intense flames forcing evacuations, even burning homes to the ground. NBC's Dana Griffin is covering it all.
In Southern California, the race to escape. A barefoot woman narrowly rescued by a fire crew as flames surround her. Erratic winds fanned the bridge fire overnight, burning across 2 counties, destroying at least 39 homes. This woman and her cat helped to safety near Wrightwood, California, the hardest hit area. Here, the fire has come down the hill. It is now burning along the roadway, jumping over to this side of the street where you can see trees are now on fire, hollowing them out. This will likely fall on the road and block it. How do you wrap your head around all of this?
You don't. Not yet.
Chuck Lyons' dream home is now unrecognizable, but he knows every inch.
That's our basement. This was our living room.
As fires rage, 34-year-old Justin Halstenberg has been arrested for arson, accused of starting the line fire, burning now for nearly a week in San Bernardino County. His family declined to talk. And the sheriff there says 2 people have been arrested for allegedly trying to burglarize evacuated homes in the fire zone.
If you're going to be an opportunist in San Bernardino County and we catch you, you are going to jail.
Air quality has plummeted as winds push smoke into Las Vegas. But as homes fall to the fire's forward march, some vow to stop it any way they can.
I built that damn house right there. It's not mine, but I'm not going to let it burn.
Dana Griffin, NBC News, Wrightwood, California.
Dana, thank you. And coming up, we're going to head back to the ground as Hurricane Francine keeps on its track through the Gulf Coast. New Orleans set to take a direct hit. Our team is right there in the middle of it. That's coming up next. And we're continuing to monitor Hurricane Francine as the Category 1 storm lashes Louisiana tonight. That eye of the storm has New Orleans in its bullseye. It's expected to make a direct hit in the next few hours after making landfall a little bit earlier as a Category 2. Now, people are already dealing with heavy flooding and strong winds that could lead to life-threatening conditions, including possible tornadoes. More than 100,000 people in total are without power in that entire region. Meanwhile, more than 2,300 Louisiana National Guardsmen are standing by to help areas affected by the storm, and a state of emergency is in effect for both Louisiana and Mississippi. Let's check in once again with NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns. Bill, what kind of impacts are people seeing tonight, and what are we going to see as the morning comes?
Yeah, we're still in a life-threatening situation. I mean, we have to deal with possible nighttime tornadoes. The winds are going to start coming down, but we still got damage being done. I have seen some pictures from where it made landfall, and I have seen some roofs destroyed. I've seen brick building that was toppled over. So there has been some significant, even structural damage, and that's what you'd expect with a Category 2 at landfall. So the winds are weakening, but I kind of noticed over the last hour or two, it's not moving north as fast as it was, stalled out a little bit here, and that has produced some tremendous tremendous rainfall totals. Also, we're starting to get a couple tornado warnings. One is just outside. Here's Slidell. So this is Lake Pontchartrain. New Orleans is off the map down here. There is one tornado warning just to the east, just to the west of Slidell. So, here you are. The winds are howling. It's pouring rain. And then the tornado sirens are going off, too, and all the alerts on your phone. So it's going to be one of those evenings throughout this region. So the rainfall is starting to be a problem. Already 3 inches at the International Airport. This map shows you, we get the orange is 5 inches, the red, the brownish color here is 7 inches. Already 7 inches of rain. Flash flood warnings are covering this region, and it's been pouring the last couple hours. The considerable threat here for areas just south of Interstate 10. So Thibodaux, also Del Almonds, that's the area where we've had estimates of up to 9 inches of rain. So it's pouring in this spot, too. Here's a closer look at some of the wind gusts. Well, they haven't really increased much. I'm actually hopeful that as the storm weakens, even as it's getting closer to New Orleans, its winds are not going to be quite as strong. In New Orleans, you have about 2 more hours in the intense stuff, and then it will begin to let up. So 55 there. Home was back up. That gauge was, that observation site was down. Now it's back up at 58. Baton Rouge, you're at 45. So I guess flash flooding is probably the #1 concern right now. During the overnight hours, we'll continue to watch the threat of tornadoes. So again, New Orleans, another couple hours. These rain totals, I may have to up them. We're already at 3. I thought we'd get as high as maybe 6. Wind gusts, we've had about 59, so that's been in the range. No isolated tornadoes so far in areas of eastern Louisiana. And Baton Rouge, kind of the same story. And here's all those flash flood warnings we mentioned, Gadi. That's probably the #1 life-threatening situation right now. If everyone's staying home, hopefully the water's staying out of their homes. But now it's dark, so now it's hard to get that information. It'll be one of those things where we wake up in the morning and we'll see the pictures and see, hopefully, maybe it wasn't that bad, or, unfortunately, in some cases, maybe it was.
Yeah, hopefully it wasn't. Bill, I do have a question. I'm not an expert at reading Doppler, but, sometimes with hurricanes, you see, you've got the strong side and then you've got the weak side. In this Doppler, and all the images that I've seen so far, this doesn't seem like it has a backside. Is that correct, or is that just not what it's reading?
This is common with storms, especially if they've been near dry air. So this storm had a lot of dry air when it was near Texas and Mexico. So there's a lot of dry air moving in behind it. So it also sucks that air in. So the front side of it is healthy. That's the tropical air. But the bottom side has sucked a lot of dry air in. So that's why, once the storm gets to you, it's done. I mean, there's some gusty winds on the backside, but nothing like the front side. So there's no backside to this. So once New Orleans is out of this in an hour or two, everyone obviously stay off the road so they can clean things up. But tomorrow morning should be completely fine. That's when all the heavy rain will be up more in Mississippi.
We'll take any good news that we can. Yeah. Bill Cairns, thanks so much. And let's check back in with our team in New Orleans right now. Jay Gray is there. Jay, how's the situation looking like, and where are you in New Orleans at this moment?
Yeah, Bill, we're on Canal Street, Gadi, we're on Canal Street just along the edge of the French Quarter here. The wind has definitely picked up over the last 30, 45 minutes here. The rain continues to come in waves, and at times it's beginning to pick up as well. So that driving rain is going to be the primary issue in this area. Most of New Orleans is below sea level, except for the French Quarter. And so that's where we're going to see the flash flooding. And we're already having some problems with that. As you've talked about, power outages continue to mount in this area. There's curfew in place, obviously. Every once in a while, we see some people out, which is not the best idea, but it happens during every storm. Ramping up to a Category 2 just before landfall, I think it got the attention of a lot of folks here. And so those that have decided to stay and ride this thing out, for the most part, and as I say that, of course, we have traffic that includes a police officer here. But for the most part, people are watching and waiting to see exactly what this storm brings. I can tell you that there are shelters open, not only here in Orleans Parish, but in at least 3 other parishes across the state. And you've got these power teams as well as the recovery teams. They're staged just outside of the strike zone, ready to move in as soon as they can. But as Bill described, it's going to be a bit of a rough ride over the next few hours here.
Yeah, it sure is. Does it look like power is going to be staying on? I mean, one side of your screen covered in light. The other side looks a little bit dark. Power on everywhere you can see?
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but right now we still have power here, and hopefully that will be the case. I think we're still early into this, so I wouldn't say for sure that we're not going to lose power, because I think we'll see some stronger gusts at least through this area. But right now here and in the central business district, the power seems to be still up and running, so that's good news for a lot of folks who are concerned. You know, we've been here a couple of days, and over the last day or so, we've seen a lot of people stocking up food, water, the things they would need if they're without power for several days. And hopefully that'll just be things that are in the pantry that they can use, that they won't have to worry about a lack of power. And right now that's the case. But again, we've got to get through several hours here into the early morning before we can say for sure.
Several hours into the early morning, and then, you know, as I don't know if you heard Bill Cairns, but the possibility of tornadoes near Slidell. Is that an area that sees tornadoes often after a hurricane like this?
With a hurricane, absolutely. And you know, it's funny, we heard you talking about that, and just minutes before we were on the air, Gadi, we all got alerts on our phone of a tornado warning. So, yeah, it's a very real possibility, something that they are watching very closely here. And one of the things that struck me from Bill was the idea that this thing has slowed down a bit, because that's going to be the biggest issue. If this thing lingers, then it's going to continue to dump rain. It's going to continue to bring those levels up. And once it gets inside the soup bowl, the gumbo bowl, if you will, that is New Orleans, it's tough to get it out. They have obviously improved the pumping stations, the locks, and all of that since Katrina, but it's still an issue, and it's something that they'll have to deal with forever because of the landscape here, because of the elevation or lack of elevation. And so, yeah, if this thing slows down a little bit, it's going to be a major issue.
Oh, let's hope it doesn't. Jay Gray on the ground, keeping an eye on that water as it blows in there. Thank you so much, Jay. And let's bring in David Spencer. He's the Public Information Officer for the St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office. The parish isn't far from where Hurricane Francine first made landfall. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Can you give us a sense of the conditions that you all are dealing with today?
We got a lot of wind that's been hitting us, and the precipitation was more than what I believe was forecasted, and so that's caused some flooding. We have some roofs that are off of houses, some power lines that are down and across the road, and some tree limbs that are across the road. We've had a couple of structures that have collapsed. So we got a lot going on at this particular time. Matter of fact, that's why the sheriff is not with you, because we got a call in of a collapsed trailer and with two elderly people inside, and he packed up and got out quickly so he could be there with our guys.
Wow. It's so often we hear, look, if you're hunkering down, you're on your own, it's too dangerous to go out there. And it sounds like your sheriff is just going out there with the crews. Do you have a lot of emergency responders that are having to go rescue people at this time?
We, at a point in the hurricane, we bring our guys in for their safety. And as it starts to move out, when it's safe for them to go in a situation like this, absolutely. Then it's like, go, see what we can do, especially when someone's life's in danger.
And St. Mary, I mean, you've seen your fair share of storms, and there have been so many lessons learned all across, the South there. What were some of the things that you prepared for ahead of this storm?
We made sure that all of our resources were allocated across the parish, four-wheelers, chainsaws, vehicles. We made sure everything was fueled up and that our fuel containers were full. And it's kind of like the same play every time. And the guys and ladies I work with, they're good at this. And so we sit down, we make sure everybody's got their job and everything's done. We put our guys and ladies on standby, and when it's time, we deploy those extra resources and those extra deputies, and everybody gets busy.
David, we really appreciate you joining us, and hopefully those that you are out to rescue tonight are safe and sound. Thank you so much. Let's go now to NBC News correspondent Kathy Park in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Kathy, you're in the middle of it right now. What are you seeing and what are you hearing?
Yeah, so Gadi, we've been kind of watching and waiting pretty much the entire day, and this is
the worst of it right now. The winds have started to pick up. The rain is really starting to come down. You might actually see some of the trees behind me whipping around. So this really is just kind of the halfway point, because we have still several hours to go of these types of conditions. Right now, we're hearing reports of ongoing outages throughout the Baton Rouge area. And of course, as these winds continue to kick up, we're looking at even more power outages in the area. It's pretty much a ghost town here in downtown Baton Rouge. You might see a lot of cars parked here. This is actually a command post for a lot of emergency responders. And over to my right, there is a vehicle that moved in a couple of hours ago and is filled with emergency equipment. So this is a federal agency here. We know state officials are also working with local officials. So it's kind of a joint effort. We're told they'll kind of monitor the situation overnight and then kind of mobilize as needed. The governor, we heard him earlier today, he's requesting everyone kind of stay in place throughout the duration of the storm, but even after the storm passes, to kind of stay put as well, so that you have these emergency responders, give them enough space so that they can actually go and move forward with those rescues as needed, and also the utility crews as well, give them the opportunity to get those repairs going. Here in Baton Rouge, Gadi, we heard from the mayor. She said that they were very proactive ahead of Francine. They cleared out the drains. In fact, they pulled out 30 tons of debris. So she felt pretty confident going into the storm, knowing that the infrastructure would be able to handle all the floodwaters.
Yeah, and we're watching the outages kick up a little bit here, too. It looks like 150,000 customers without power right now across Louisiana. You know, there are the drains, there are the levees, and then there's also the lift stations, right? And those lift stations require power. Any word on whether some of the critical infrastructure is seeing some of these power hits, or things seem to be holding steady?
Yeah, right now, so far, so good. But, you know, as I mentioned, we're not over with this storm. We're still kind of monitoring the situation pretty closely over the next several hours into the evening hours. You mentioned those power outages. The numbers are starting to tick up. And then these wind gusts will continue to kind of fire up and burst throughout the course of the evening. So we also want to point out, Gadi, the area has been saturated over the past couple of days. They've been getting pounded with a lot of rain, so the ground has a lot of moisture, and this obviously is not helping. So we could be looking at a lot of downed trees come tomorrow morning, and possibly power lines as well with these extreme winds.
And Kathy, did you see a lot of people leaving town heeding those evacuation warnings, the ones that were voluntary there, or are most people hunkering down?
Yeah, so I've kind of been positioned in Baton Rouge for the past couple of days, and based on some of the conversations that I've had with those folks, they decided to kind of ride out the storm. But I should point out, in 2016, they're kind of scarred from an incident that happened then. In the summer of 2016, there was a system that stalled, dumped several inches of rain, in fact, 20 inches of rain in some spots. And a lot of these residents were telling me they had flood damage, and they are kind of still recovering from that in some cases. So knowing what they experienced back then, they didn't want a repeat of that. So preparation is key, and they knew that. They kind of jumped on to the situation pretty quickly. They heeded the warnings. They started preparing pretty quickly, early as Monday. I mean, this system kind of formed in a short amount of time. So based on some of those chats that I've had, Monday, Tuesday, they were doing the grocery runs, the sandbagging station. So they were moving pretty quickly to kind of protect their homes from the conditions that we're seeing right now.
Kathy Park in Baton Rouge for us tonight. Kathy, thank you. And joining us now is Sheriff Craig Weber from Lafourche Parish near New Orleans. Sheriff, thank you so much for joining us on such a busy night. Real quick, what kinds of calls are you all responding to right now?
We're responding to calls of there's a couple of people who are stranded and their homes flooded, about 14 people. So we're sending some high water vehicles. Of course, all the alarm systems are going off, but that's a function of having no electricity in about 80% of the parish and wind type effects. Right now, we're doing in the very, very beginning stages of recovery where we're doing assessments. What we have found is while we have a lot of power out, the power infrastructure seems to be pretty good. Not a lot of poles down, which is a big plus in the restoration effort. Some trees down occasionally, a huge amount of water in the northern part of Lafourche Parish, particularly around Thibodaux, not so much in the southern part of the parish. But remember, Lafourche Parish was ground zero 3 years ago for Hurricane Ida. So we really took a punch then, and we have a lot of resiliency built in, but there are still people living in temporary housing from Hurricane Ida that had to be evacuated as well.
Yeah, a huge punch back then, and a lot of lessons learned. Did you say that 80% of the parish right now is possibly without powder?
I would say that's a fair estimate, but based upon what I'm looking at, the map put out by the utility company. And I've driven the whole parish just about in the whole day. Started out in the morning, and I've tried to cover all the sectors of the parish. Spent the majority of the time in the Thibodeau area, the northern part of the parish, which north and central Lafourche took a large part of the hit. We had a good 2 solid hours of a substantial amount of wind and rain, a lot of waters flooding streets. Not too many residences. We have a handful of residences that we've identified thus far, and we're working with our work crews to try and restore the highways, cut trees and move debris, so that people can that we can get people out if we need be.
And Sheriff, how many people in Lafourche, from what you saw, chose to hunker down during this storm compared to those who got out ahead?
It would be, I would say, about 98% of the parish probably sheltered in place. And I want to compliment the residents of Lafourche, because throughout this entire ordeal, which as I'm standing here is still going on, we're on the tail end, the back end of Francine, and we still have some pretty strong gusts in and around the parish. They remained in place. We didn't have a lot of vehicular traffic. We didn't have any sightseeing going on. We didn't have people putting themselves in jeopardy. And we hope to continue that throughout the night and into tomorrow as well, so that we can continue to assess, identify hazards, and mitigate those hazards.
It seems like a lot of residents there learning lessons from past storms. In terms of infrastructure and in terms of identifying pain point from some of those past storms, anything that you're seeing this time around that is also a pain point?
We know our vulnerabilities. Most of Lafourche Parish in the southern region and going into the northern region have levee systems. The area outside of the levee system, which is the far southern tip of Lafourche Parish, part of the roadway will flood, and that's been evacuated, along with the town of Grand Isle, which is not in Lafourche Parish, but accessible by road through Lafourche Parish. No real pain points beyond what we anticipated. However, the rain may have exceeded our expectations, but now that the rain is starting to subside and the drainage can catch up, we'll see that the water level is going down, and we can get a better handle of how many structures may have been impacted. We have not gotten any reports of injuries, which is a big plus. Sometimes, though, injuries occur after the storm passes in the recovery phase, when people are getting on ladders to start clearing debris or cutting tree limbs or putting gasoline in generators. We want to caution our residents to be careful in that regard as well. But we have all of our deputies out. We've redeployed them, and they are now doing assessments and identifying and mitigating hazards such as downed power lines and trees or other debris on the highway.
And Sheriff, how does this storm compare to some of the storms of the past? Just leveling with people. I mean, does it seem like, I know that the forecast called for a little bit less precipitation, but does it seem like you all dodged a bullet tonight?
Compared to, if you want to compare to Hurricane Ida, which is the most recent storm, with Ida being a 10, this is probably a 1 or a 2. It's a singular event. Ida was about a 30-hour event. That the parish was completely black for as long, and some parts of it for as long as 30 days. The total infrastructure of the utility grid had to be rebuilt. It was, in comparison to this one, it is a punch in the nose, but I think we'll quickly recover. The water will subside. Hopefully the energy crews start identifying what they need to do to restore power. And people here are resilient, and they know how to take care of themselves and take care of their neighbors.
That resilience is an inspiration for all of us. Sheriff, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Sure. And as extreme weather hits 2 coasts tonight, scientists at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration have updated their tally of major weather and climate disasters. NBC News national climate reporter Chase Kane has a look at how they've been impacted by climate change.
This might seem like a split-screen moment from a weather perspective. Massive wildfires in the west, a storm strengthening in the Gulf. But from a climate perspective, they're actually both connected by one important part of atmospheric physics. A hotter atmosphere holds more moisture. Here in the West, that means the atmosphere is essentially thirstier, and that is just creating more fuel for these wildfires a lot more quickly.
The air can hold more water when it's warmer. So as temperatures rise, the atmosphere can actually take more water out of the landscape. It can absorb more water from, the soils, the plants, and it increases the aridity. And that is something that we're seeing because of human-caused climate change.
More dry vegetation means more fuel for the line fire and dozens of other wildfires burning a combined 2.2 million acres across the West. Meantime, in the Gulf, Francine continues strengthening as it moves over record hot waters, more than 2 degrees above average. And Climate Central calculates that those sea surface temperatures were 200 times more likely because of human-caused climate change.
This isn't just a tropical system. This isn't just weather. This is weather being made more intense because of climate change, and we can see that with a very clear signal in our oceans.
Plus, it's not just the surface. The warm water right now is pretty deep.
NBC Miami hurricane specialist John Morales says that's giving storms like Francine more jet fuel to help them strengthen more quickly just before they make landfall.
And unfortunately, yes, there is more of that jet fuel that these tropical cyclones can tap into and lead to rapid intensification. Look at Otis in 2023. Tropical storm one day, Category 5 hurricane the next, and causing fatalities and causing massive destruction, nearly without warning.
And even after Francine makes landfall, the storm has the potential to drop even more flooding rains farther inland because climate change is heating up our atmosphere. So the through line is that burning oil and gas makes our atmosphere and our oceans hotter, supercharging hurricanes, how much rain they can drop, and creating more days like this. Hot and dry days that allow fires to spread more easily, especially once the wind picks up. So the bottom line is that the extremes get more extreme and we get more frequent disasters. In Highland, California, I'm meteorologist Chase Kane.
Chase Kane, thank you for that report. And that does it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We're going to toss it over to our NBC News affiliate in New Orleans, WDSU, for continuing coverage of Hurricane Francine right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.